Fighting games are hard to get into and even harder to stick with. Not necessarily because they're complicated, but because of how much you'll lose. And you're gonna lose a lot. And if you don't learn how to lose properly early on, it stops feeling like part of the process and starts to just feel personal. If you've ever thought about getting into a fighting game, you've probably felt that struggle. The feeling that you're already behind, that everybody already knows something that you don't. You jump in, press something, anything really, and you just get shut down. And it's not just that you lost, it's that you didn't even get a chance to play. And that's really the turning point. Because the problem isn't solely losing, it's not knowing how to learn from those losses. It starts to just feel like you're bad, and that's pretty hard to shake. I think most people go through this. I know I certainly have. Before the genre really clicked with me, I couldn't tell you how many times I excitedly bought a fighting game that caught my eye just to be disappointed in my mountain of losses and shelving the game entirely. After years of trial and error, though, I did finally find my game in Guilty Gear Strive. And while I have dabbled with others since, it remains my bread and butter. Something about the game has to make you willing to stay, to put up with the mountain of losses. Whether it's the art direction, the soundtrack, character design, or the lore of the world, you need something that keeps you grounded long enough that you can start to learn from your losses. And for me, it was almost everything about Strive. At first, it did feel like chaos. It was fast, incredibly noisy, and overwhelming. But after a while, it began to slow down. The noise turned out to be a banging soundtrack, and the chaos became something that I could manage. That shift didn't come from suddenly winning more, it came from finally understanding what my losses were trying to show me. Progress doesn't always look like progress while it's happening. For a long time, I treated wins as the only sign that I was improving, when that isn't really how it goes. Wins are a reward, but improvement, that's happening in the losses, whether you notice it or not. So instead of chasing one big payoff, I started to pay attention to the smaller ones, like finally blocking an overhead that had been constantly knocking you down. Fighting games look complicated at first, like they're asking you to learn an entirely new skill set. But it's not really like that. They're familiar skills, just presented differently and under more pressure. Positioning, timing, pattern recognition, staying cool under pressure. These aren't things that you suddenly start to discover in your wins. You start to notice these in your losses. And once you start to see that, the smaller moments start to stand out more and more. I don't think I gave blocking the respect it deserves early on. It felt boring. I wanted to be the one doing damage, landing the combo, smashing my opponent through the side of the screen. But blocking is the foundation. Blocking is leg day. You can practice combos all day, but if you can't defend yourself long enough to pull those off, what's it all for? And I think learning how to block is where you start to learn how to lose differently. Not necessarily as a failure, but as acquiring information. And that's where it starts to build. Not all at once, but piece by piece. One decision after another, giving you something to finally hold on to. You start seeing the game for what it is. You stop thinking entirely in terms of winning and losing, and start focusing on the moments in between. Could I have slowed down and blocked more? Did I recognize that pattern fast enough? Did I stay calm where I used to panic? You start to analyze everything. Why did that work? Where did I get away with something that I shouldn't have? What could I have done better, even in a win? And suddenly the match isn't just a result anymore. Now, I should add, I didn't figure this out all on my own. I had a friend who was dead set on getting me into fighting games for years. We'd watch tournaments together, he'd break them down alongside them so I could understand what was going on and why people were hyped up and getting excited for certain things. And after a few of these tournaments, I started to pick up the basics. Not just mechanics and matchups, but how players were adjusting, constantly learning, even in the middle of a losing situation. Honestly, a big part of that education sticking was how much he loved it. His excitement was contagious. Through him, fighting games didn't feel impossible anymore. They felt surmountable. And without that perspective, I think I really would have missed out on something very special. You're not in this alone, because everyone in this genre has gone through what you're going through. Different speeds, different games, different levels, but the process is always familiar. You struggle, you lose, you learn from it, then you build from there. That's why events like EVO feel the way that they do. It's not just the high level play, it's the result, the culmination of years of learning from losses. Players who have refined every decision, every reaction, every possible move under pressure. And yeah, they all started out the same way, losing a lot. EVO clearly isn't the beginning of the journey. It is proof of what sticking with it can be. And the community doesn't forget that. People want to teach you. They want you to learn. They want you to stay long enough to become a part of the community. And I think that's why fighting games have stuck with me till this point. Not just the competition, everything else around it. Yeah, the losing, the adjusting, the support of a community, the slow moments where things start to really click. The moment where you're deliberately executing a combo when you want to. That's significant. Fighting games don't really change what you're doing, they change how you understand what you're doing. They hold up a mirror to your current skill level, and that could be a little uncomfortable to sit with. I should know. At first, it will feel like chaos. Fast, overwhelming, hard to keep up with. But over time, it will slow down, and you'll quickly realize that it was never impossible for you to get into fighting games. You just weren't seeing what the losses were trying to show you. I know I wasn't. But you start to, one loss at a time. And that's why I'm still here. Because losing was never the problem. Not learning from it was.